People of the verse, hello and welcome to the channel. This is the Eradicator, and it looks like Jared is bringing the value-added gameplay, the VAG, to the table today, as we have a fantastic episode about docking here. And look at that, flying here in the Merlin, just like Jax McLaren during CitizenCon 2949. I'm getting all mixed up with those years. So let's talk about it. Yes, as Amorographer is here saying in the chat, hype. So let's see if this is worth the hype or not. But this is a feature I've been waiting for so many years, since the beginning, guys, since 2012. The idea of having a ship and docking with that ship into another ship. Let's have a look here at how this is going to be done. And this is what I like. We can already fly here between the buildings of Area 18 or New Babbage as well.
Real life docking UIs and procedures, and we distilled it down into what was really important.
Oh,
the
that's
process
really cool.
as a whole feels very satisfying to go through.
Docking is actually an easier experience than we thought it would be because of how useful the UI is in explaining what you need to do.
That's very good. That's why UI is always extremely important. If you have a good UI, then the game is easier to use. And we can see that with the bad UI that we sometimes get. I'm thinking about you, Star Map. When the UI is not functioning, it is frustrating for everybody. When the UI is working well, it makes it so much pleasant and easier. And it's great to see that devs are learning from their mistakes and using that quality UI into bringing us quality of life and somehow the new functionalities that are easy to use. Wow, Shadow Rise says it's his favorite Inside Stars in the past year.
Right now, you would target like what you're wanting to dock with. So with this case of a ship to ship, you're targeting the Constellation.
Making the Merlin attached to the Connie has been an interesting challenge of tech that we've put in. We've kind of pushed forward the physics grid tech. We're one of the first features to use the new ability for us to connect two physics grids together, which is a feature that had been in development in sort of lower level engine tech for quite some time, but we're testing that on a real gameplay feature.
That is so cool. It looks so seamless.
Properly airlock at the back of the Constellation when you're going through and opening the little doors underneath the Constellation.
There we go. Now, how many of you guys have seen that and have been frustrated that you can't get inside? What's in? I remember back in the days of the hangar module. I'm not even thinking of the early baby steps of the baby verse. Even before that, the hangar module. How many of you guys have seen that in the hangar module back in the days when the Constellation was already available in the hangar module? And he's like, what is this? How do we get inside? Why can't I get inside? Right? And finally, it is going to be functional. It really is going to be a ship and not a prop that's going to be there. And it will be working. That is fantastic.
We've also worked a lot on the sort of transition between the two ships, so getting out of the Merlin, getting back in, making that experience really smooth.
Let's say we're starting from, you've gone out down to a planet on your Merlin, and you've decided that you're going to come back up and start docking again. You will target as if you were targeting to fire on your ship, but instead of attacking it, you press, for now we have it as set to a key, which currently is the same as the landing key, that will essentially send a request to your ship, at which point your docking doors will start opening, and you'll get some fancy little HUD coming up of the docking alignment.
Fantastic. So that's what they were saying. It's super easy. Just get your own ship. Just select the ship. Press T to target the ship as if you are attacking it. You don't attack it. Instead, you press the landing key, which is going to send basically a docking request. You are going to be the owner of that ship. You can choose to accept or decline, just like you get a party invitation, for example, and then you just have to follow that little UI here, which is very similar to other UIs that you have in other games. I'm thinking of X4. Is it the same? No, we don't have docking in Elite Dangerous, but in X4 we do have docking. It kind of looks like that a little bit, right? Hello, Dr. Forbin Colossus. How are you doing, my good sir? And that's basically it. Easy to use and comprehensive at the same time.
You have two options. You have an automatic mode and a manual mode.
The landing button is what you would use to dock, but if you hold it down similar to auto landing, you can get an auto dock feature. which will fly your ship.
So
up
that's
and
the auto landing we're having a look at here.
It's much quicker and I guess more satisfying to use the manual docking.
That's very interesting, and that's always, the debate, manual versus automatic. And that's going to be, by the way, guys, that each video I am talking about the giveaway, and this month, of course, I am giving away a Retaliator bomber with lifetime insurance. All you have to do, guys, of winning is to subscribe to the channel and also answer the giveaway question that I'm going to ask in each video. And this is the giveaway question for this particular video, guys. When you land, do you use auto landing or do you land manually? That is what I want to know in the comment section down below. All right, and as far as I'm concerned, I never use auto landing because I like to have that sense of pride and accomplishment when I am landing my ship, and it makes lots of, I don't know, when I'm watching content on YouTube or I like to see people land. And I like to show off landings as well. I don't know what you guys think also about landing. And I think that it's going to be the same here with docking. The joy, the satisfaction of having a nice, smooth docking on a mothership. I think that I will also be doing the same. Although I gotta say that the auto dock feature here that we saw, let's have a look again at the auto dock here, looked pretty neat. Let's have a look one more time.
You can get an auto dock feature.
I mean, it's already quick. What do you guys say?
Connected for you.
It's much quicker and I guess more satisfying to use the manual docking, which you'll have to align all of the values yourself.
And so we've made this.
Good question. So Juiceball is asking, does Autoland still work? I don't know, man. Adventuring Fetus, nice name, by the way. Autoland all the way. My brain is too small and I always feel like I'm damaging my ship when I control the descent.
Thing where there's like a ring that shows you how aligned you are. So it has these 3 little dots, one around the outside of the ring and then 2 in the middle. And then as you align your Merlin with the back of the constellation, these dots will line up in the center. And you know that you've then aligned your ship. And then there's a little...
Oh yeah, so you must have all of the 3 dots all together, which is when you should make it up to the constellation. Very interesting, very easy to use indeed, very easy. You can tell that they've been thinking about it for quite some time.
Box. As you move your Merlin around relative to the constellation, this little box moves around. And the goal is to get the box in the center. And that's when you know that you are pretty much matched up exactly in the right place.
You'll be able to get out and be straight into your constellation. If you don't own the constellation, it's a little bit different.
If you're trying to dock with a constellation that's not yours, then the owner of the constellation will get a message saying...
There you go, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's exactly like having some kind of party invite, right? Instead of having a party invite, it is a docking request. Imagine that, finally, when you are going to a station and you're pressing that F11 button in order to request a landing to the ATC, that's going to be what that, person flying that Merlin is going to be. And you will be the ATC in the constellation deciding to open or close that shaft. So cool.
Constellation. Are you okay with that? If you press no, then they'll get turned away. If you press yes, then the docking doors on the constellation will open and then you're free.
Hey, look at that. That's definitely a manual landing. See, he didn't came straight into, he had to adjust his position in order to be able to dock.
An exciting part of this is that this will be the first version of ship spawning that we release. So when you go to your ASOP menu in the station...
Oh yeah, something that we've been thinking about for quite some time. Ship-to-ship spawning, with which we could also be thinking of vehicles, right? It's not just the Merlin that is going to spawn inside the constellation. We can also think of, for example, a rover spawning inside a Cutlass, right? And what about a Pisces spawning inside a Karak or a 300 series spawning inside an Ignited Jump, right? The possibilities are endless. This is just the very beginning. They're starting that with a constellation, but there are plenty of other ships that can spawn inside another vehicle, and this particular event here, the constellation being able to do that with a Merlin, is going to pave the way for those other ships for the future.
Constellation, and you have set that on the docking port, you have a Merlin there. You can set that in your VMA in your Mobi-Glass, and if that is set, then when you spawn the constellation, there will be a Merlin there. And equally, if you unattach it or remove it from the docking port in your VMA, and then despawn your constellation and spawn back again, it won't be there. We don't quite know when we will expand this to other ship-in-ship spawning situations.
Oh, they don't know. Oh no. I was hoping that it would come with the other ship as well at the same time. It's just the Merlin and the Constellation. All right.
But I'm pretty confident that this is a good first step in this direction.
Boom.
And certainly going forward, it's going to be easier and easier for us to do this kind of thing.
All right. One baby step at a time. That's okay.
Ship-to-station docking is quite a different
Oh
process.
yes. Oh yes. That is also going to be fun here for those of you who own bigger ships. And I can't wait for this functionality to be available for even larger ships. Thinking of the Hull Sea, for example, which cannot land if it has all of its cargo. The Hull Sea would only be able to go to those stations. It needs that function pretty badly here. And it's finally coming in 3.13.
Keep it as similar and consistent as possible. The first two ships that have ship-to-station docking will be the Hammerhead and the 890.
With the case of ship to station, you're targeting
the Hull
entire
E, of
station
course,
as a
yeah.
whole. If you have the right docking ports and you have permission to dock there, it'll kind of search for the docking ports that it has, and if it has docking ports free of like the right size, it'll begin the docking process. And very similar to ship docking, it'll be a nice little HUD showing up.
Okay, it's the same. It's the same HUD. Wow, that's going to be very interesting to see people doing that manually versus automatic. If I were to fly a capital ship, and guys, I am not interested in flying capital ships. Well, I love capital ships in Star Citizen, don't get me wrong. But I love to enjoy the ship, which is why a lot of people are saying, oh, there are so many people out there who own capital ships and nobody is going to crew. That is not true. There are also people like me who do not own capital ships but love to be in capital ships. I love to be a crew in a capital ship, just going around when the pilot is doing his own thing. Give the pressure to the pilot. If the ship dies, if the ship is destroyed, it's not my problem, it's not my fault. I'm just here to enjoy the ride. And that's what is fantastic with those capital ships. And here, I can tell you, the pilot, and that's not going to be me, that's going to be whoever's going to fly it, the pilot's going to have a lot of pressure to dock the capital ship to the station and make sure that it's alright. Can you imagine you have a big Hull Sea or a big capital ship, and your mission is determined on whether or not you can successfully dock at the station to deliver some kind of cargo, and you fail? That is going to be a lot of pressure, and I'm glad it's not going to be me.
Once you are accepted docking permission, you'll see this arm animating out to reach some point.
Look at that, it is erecting.
You will be guided to the point where the arm will be when it's finished its animation.
It is heading towards the value that you can play.
If you manage to maneuver in place before the arm finishes its animation, then it will just animate and connect. Otherwise, it'll be there, then you can
Look at that, it keeps on going longer and
once
longer
that's
and longer.
happened, you're pretty much then joined with the station, and you can walk out of your ship, open your doors, walk through the docking arm into the little lobby area that we built.
Alright, so that's the little area that they built. Well, it's very simplistic, of course, but I mean, it's just like when you're taking the plane.
Docking port relative mode that will basically let you kind of change view so that you're like looking as if you were looking out through the docking port. And we'll also change the control scheme as well, so that if you're trying to align and you find it difficult to do it by looking through the cockpit, you can do it by looking through the docking port.
We've been really trying to make the experience pleasant for the players. I think long term we would really like it if
exactly Dragon Wood looks like an airport terminal. And look at that. Look at the Merlin fight here with the two guns here on the side, one gun on the front. It is a decent fighter, and this is something that I have been that's one of the reasons why I have never flown a Merlin, is because you can't engage in quantum travel with that particular ship, but if you have a mothership like the Constellation that you can use, then you can be sure that more and more people will be using the Merlin, and on top of that, it is going to make the Constellation more useful as well with more people, because right now, basically, if you have 3 people, that's basically the pilot and 2 gunners. Right now, you can have 4 people in the Constellation with the pilot of the Merlin instead, and that is, again, is going to include furthermore people. I've been many times that 4th player in the Constellation, just sitting and doing nothing, say, hey guys, so cool, being in the co-pilot's chair, taking videos while everybody else was busy, and I felt a little bit bored, right? And now for that 4th player in the Constellation, there's finally going to be something to do, and I can tell you, and this is what also Grafas was saying here in the chat, the Constellation is going to get more popular after 3.13, thanks to that particular feature, we should expect to see more of that ship.
In your ship, so if you're in the Hammerhead, there's like a little terminal where you can pick the docking port that you want to attach to on your
Hey
ship.
Jacob, how are you doing?
Similarly, you'll make requests to the air traffic control to dock on the station.
I'm just pleased with how smooth it can feel. An analogy I'd use, I guess, would be like doing a really good parking job. It feels really similar. That moment when you kind of align perfectly and the square goes green and all of the little indicators are telling you that you've done a good job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was
really
an automatic
satisfying.
landing for sure, or docking.
When the first version
All right, guys. Well, I gotta say that this is a feature that looks particularly impressive. Kind of makes me want to get a Constellation again, right? The Constellation is rentable for 75,000 Alpha UEC at Lorville, if I remember. So it's actually a pretty decent deal. You can get your money back pretty quickly. I made a couple of videos about that. I think that was last month, right? So it took me about 3 hours to get that money back. And then when I was renting the ship for three days, by the way. So I rented the ship for 3 days. It took me 3 hours to get my money back, and everything else after was just pure profit. So it's a great ship. If you don't own a Constellation, you don't need to buy it. You can just rent it and still enjoy the gameplay that's going to be associated with it, right? You think you'll get an in-game Connie as well, says Macho. All right. Oh, 70,000 Gruffers. Sorry, my bad, guys. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this aroused you here for the upcoming 3.13. It certainly did. And I'll see you next time for more Star Citizen content. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.